I'm really, really happy to introduce and welcome our guest for tonight. Oh, there she is, the lovely and talented, wonderful Ava Eisenson. Hi, Ava.
Hi.
Nice to see you. I'm going to tell the people a little bit about you because
Great.
you are such an interesting person. Ava Eisenson is an actor, coach, creative consultant, and activist living in Astoria, New York. And I'm just delighted to welcome her to the show.
Thank
Um,
you so much for having me.
oh, it's my pleasure. Well, let's dive in and get right to the topics. I'm going to be asking three questions. And the first question has to do with core values and principles that you would like name one that you would consider is the cornerstone of your personal life philosophy. And, maybe give us an experience or an event that might have led you to that, to adopting that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you just like dive right in. These are the big questions. Um, I was thinking about this. You had shared the topics with me, and I wanted to just kind of like sometimes I think, live out our values, but don't name them or think about them or calcify them in a certain way. So it was kind of nice to have this question to be like, what is my core value? So
Yes.
where I sort of landed was I think I really value honesty. It's really, really, really important to me.
Mhm.
And I think that I'm an actor, so it feels sort of maybe paradoxical to be like, well, don't you just like make believe all the time? But I do feel like the best art is a reveal of the best performance is a reveal of the things that feel the most honest and the most true, and that we can invite audiences into something that they really identify with and relate to. So to me, it feels like a value that I try to live. I try to be emotionally honest with myself. I try to be honest with others.
Mhm.
I am not always great at it. I think
Well,
there are,
sometimes we want to protect others' feelings, or we don't want to be so honest that we can be brutal.
yes,
But but I agree. Honesty, even as an actor, you're playing a character, but you're playing the character's truth. So
yeah,
you have to be able. I mean, in order for you to find someone else's truth, it's good to kind of have that be part of your own regimen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And it's that sort of like, I think, like commedia principle of like you put a mask on, but it actually reveals more than if the
yes.
mask was off. Like there's something else that can come to life, kind of. Um, but yeah, I think there's like so many things that get in the way of that because of our own narratives or our own assumptions about ourselves, or we want to be nice to people. We want to be, what's that phrase, honesty without tact is just cruelty.
Yes, yes, it's a very much so. I mean, I remember there have been situations where someone has asked me, "Well, what do you think? What do you think? What do you really think?" And I try to give them the truth in a most constructive way, but
Yeah.
sometimes they just don't want to hear it. But I think for on a personal level, it's just kind of good to know where you stand,
Totally.
and you
Totally.
and you expect that from others. It's a
Yeah,
standard.
I do. And I mean, I definitely like in the realm you're talking about of kind of like getting feedback or hearing constructive criticism. I think I could do better, like and be even more receptive or more able to integrate quickly without feeling hurt or feeling defensive or feeling sensitive. So I definitely think that's like always something I can get better at.
Right. It's like if you walk the walk, you gotta talk the talk to walk the walk. If
Yeah.
your standard or your principle is honesty, it does have to work both ways. But
Yes. And I think like this to me is sort of the forever practice of meeting the moment wherever it is, whatever it is, and honestly relating to that moment as it comes, that facing reality feels like a practice in honesty, and I think you could also call that like presence, or I don't know, like just honoring reality as it presents itself.
Absolutely. It's great. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. What a great way to start it off, right? So,
Yeah.
with that in mind, with the honesty principle being the cornerstone of your life philosophy, uh, let's go to the second question, which has to do with how do you handle challenges and difficult situations, and like, do you have a particular mindset or approach when these things come into your life?
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's related. So maybe it's like the big theme, but at least, things you can change, mindset can change. But where I'm at now
Yes.
is I am trying to um I have a tendency to catastrophize, to not just like, Chicken Little screaming that the sky is falling, but to feel that a small detail or a minor moment could grow into a bigger problem. And I think about that and worry about that. And so encountering difficult situations, I'm trying to adopt a more present modality of seeing the problem for what it is,
Mhm.
noticing how I feel, what's going on, what is the reality, not the narrative, not the catastrophe, not the worry, not the hope, but like what is the actual thing that has occurred? Can you take out judgment? Can you take out the narrative? Can you take out um whatever else is like clouding it, and can you just meet it, like
Right.
just meet the moment.
What is like the secondary gain? Would it be some kind of protection, like a self-protection, like, oh, let me see where could this go? What could be the worst thing that could happen, and then I'll prepare myself for that. Is it part of like a protection, and then you're just realizing, wait a minute, I don't really need that.
Well, I don't think I'm advanced enough to feel like I don't need it. Like, I feel like I do need it. Like, I feel like I do need to kind of like prepare for the worst. And I think it is a protection mechanism. It's like our queen, Brené Brown, like whose work I love, like,
Yes.
along with everyone else, she is, it's the dress rehearsing tragedy idea. It's
Sure. What's
that,
the worst
like,
that could happen? And if
yeah.
I got that in mind, and I got my strategies, then anything else is like, cake.
Yeah, and I think it's like once that behavior habituates, it's not a choice anymore. It's a default setting. And so I think, for lots of different reasons, that kind of became something that I did. And so that's my default setting. And so I'm trying to like bring awareness to that, and believe and trust that a little bit looser of a grip, a
Yeah.
little less preparedness actually gives the space to problem solve, to be
Yes.
more agile, to be more reactive, not in like a emotionally reactive, but to be like lean and ready. And it doesn't
Actually
feel that way.
open
Yes.
to the solutions coming in.
Yeah.
You're like clearing a space, you're creating a space for solutions to come in, rather than creating the barriers, the walls, or the stratagems for catastrophe.
Yeah, but it's so ingrained that
Mm.
like that thing of leaving space doesn't always feel good or
Yeah,
helpful or
comfortable.
productive. It's very uncomfortable, and it doesn't like what, I think with any habit change, you're like, I want to change the habit, and then I want it to be better right away. Like I want to see results, I want it to feel good. You want that like carrot at the end of the stick, but it doesn't for so long that it is in some ways sort of like a faith-based practice of being like, I recognize that what I'm doing isn't always working. And so I am trusting and trying to have enough faith that trying something new will lead to different results, even if I can't see those results right away.
Yes. Oh, that's very good. I love the idea of creating a space and not catastrophizing. I must take that into account. Thank you. Thank you very much for bringing
Yeah.
it to
Let
the
me know
table.
how it goes.
I will for sure. So that to round out our wonderful discussion here, we come to the third question, which is, I mean, it's a huge topic, but I broke it down into a rather simple phrase, and that's, what gets you out of bed in the morning? And I guess you could also say, how do you find meaning and purpose in your life?
Yeah. This is another great question. And it made me kind of pause and be curious because, there's all this like research and data around like connecting to your purpose, your sense of why is like the best motivator. Like if you know your why and you can embed that in any of your tasks, any of your day to day, it just gives you so much more fuel to the fire. And like,
Yes.
I've read that and I know that, but I don't know that I'm like actively doing that.
Like it's an intention that you set.
Yeah.
But then it's not something that you have to have the faith that, I set the intention now.
Yeah. But I think like to the sometimes when I don't feel super connected to a why or a purpose,
Mhm.
I do feel motivated by just like, I really do love a checklist. Like, I know this sounds so lame, but like, just in like a practical, like, I, we all have those mornings where you're like looking down the barrel, being like, oh, or at least me, I'm like, oh God, I have so many things to do. I got to make a doctor's appointment. I got to like all sorts of stuff that like I got to mail a lot. Like I got to do these things that I don't. I got to go grocery shopping. Or I have to do a thing I'm scared of, or I have to make a phone call that I'm, like sometimes just the bliss of being like, I'm going to do it and it's going to be done. Like I know that that is not purposeful action, which I should work on, but I really am task motivated.
Yes.
And for me, like there is a big part of me that is like, I feel like I'm here to do good work. Like I feel like I'm here to make it better than I left it, and that is a huge motivation for me. It is part of my why. And I think even though sometimes I'm not connected to the big picture of that, the bliss I feel in getting the work done
Yes.
is somehow connected.
It's like perfect because you have your lodestar. I mean, you have the super objective.
Yeah.
And it's there and it radiates through everything you do. And that's a wonderful thing to leave the planet better than when you found it, or to do good, and in whatever context, in every context, and to have that be your guiding principle. I think it's great. And what a great conversation. I can't think of all of the things that we touched, and we did it so nicely and
Yeah.
wonderful. We went right
through
it.
them. Yeah.
Marvelous. Gee, thank you so much, Ava. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for being here and taking part in this wonderful chat. And thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking or commenting, sharing the video with your friends and family. And thanks again to Ava. And until
Thank you.
next time.